Perfect. Welcome everyone to the Committee of Adjustment for the 12th day of September 2023. I just want to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed to the Town of Greater Napanee YouTube channel. Having said that, we'll look for a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Moved by Councillor Pennell, seconded by Councillor Martin. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion's carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, look for a motion for the adoption of the minutes for the Committee of Adjustment for August 29th, 2023. Moved by Deputy Mayor Calver, seconded by Councillor Shank. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion's carried. Land severance application. Land severance application PLCOR 2023-032 1382972 Ontario Limited. L. Cuthill Red Tree Developments 834 County Road 9. Legal description: County Concession 4 Part Lot 8 and RP 29R 149 Part 1 former Geographic Township of North Fredericksburg. And before we get started, is there anyone here to speak for or against the application? And there's, I'll note that there's nobody in the council chambers right now. So seeing none, go ahead, Mr. Nobes.
Thank you, Worship. The application before the committee this evening is for the creation of one severed, to create one severed lot that is already developed with an existing rural residential development. There's already a house on this lot and sewage system. There's already a well. The proposal is to separate that from the balance of the lands. It would leave a skinny frontage of a certain depth. So it's effectively there would, after, if this proposal is approved, there's a previously severed parcel on the, I'll call it the west side of the parcel, and there would be a future severed parcel on the east side of this parcel, and essentially a skinny strip all the way through, and then it widens out to a larger retained parcel to the rear of those severed parcels in the front. So staff are recommending approval with a condition to be imposed that a minor variance be applied for and successfully obtained for that resultant 20-meter frontage. Staff don't have a concern with that frontage because it really would only be used for a driveway to gain access to the rear of the parcel where it widens out, and it's a much more usable piece of the property. It's very well treed. It's very densely treed. So there's good opportunity to leave a lot of that tree line in place to buffer between a future residence and the existing houses effectively in the front. We're not proposing to have a well installed as a condition of the consent because this lot is well exceeding the 10-acre minimum that we had recently amended as far as the minimum size for installation of a well. So it greatly exceeds that. But I will note that there are two former quarries used for excavation on essentially either side of the property, which hold groundwater more or less year round at a pretty high elevation. So there's lots of water in the area. So we don't anticipate any concerns from a future well being installed there. Just wanted to bring that to the committee's attention. We haven't recommended it for the sole reason that this lot is greater than 10 acres and is compliant with our policy around when we do and don't require a well. So all that being said, staff are recommending approval. If there were a proposal to create a very skinny lot like this that did not widen out at the rear and have that opportunity to site a house with good buffering, we wouldn't be recommending approval. But in this case, it makes a good level of sense given the context of the site. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Thanks, Michael. Is there any questions of Mr. Notes with respect to this application? Seeing none, thanks, Michael. And sorry, go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to ask just a quick or make a quick comment that there is no other roof frontage onto this piece of property at this time, and there probably will never be by the looks of it.
That's correct. We don't anticipate that.
Great, thank you. Councillor Shank, you're looking to move, looking for someone to second it. Deputy Mayor Calver, is there any further comments, questions, or concerns with respect to the motion, which is the staff recommendation? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? Opposed, motion's carried. Minor variance application PLVAR 2023-035 E and C Goodwin, 49 Pearl Street, legal description plan 36 lot 21, part lot 20, B 32 RP 29R 1791, parts 1 and 2. And once again, is there anybody here to speak for or against this minor variance application? And there, just to note that there is no one in the body of the council chambers. So I'm thinking that there isn't. So go ahead, Michael.
Thank you, Worship. So the application before the committee is to vary the front yard setback and the center line of road setback for a accessory building, a garage. All along Pearl Street, the houses are very close to the front lot line. And in this particular instance, this parcel has a triangular shape that narrows towards the rear. There's really no way for them to get further back from the road and still meet their side yard setback. They're doing as best as they can. They're actually going to be further back than the house itself is. So it would be compliant with our policy, with our zoning regulations, that in the urban area, garages not be ahead of the house. So it's meeting that. It's really doing its very best to be compliant, as compliant as possible. Unfortunately, just given the constraints of the lot, they can't physically move the garage further back to meet that required 6 meter front yard setback. All other zoning provisions check out, lot coverage, building height, et cetera. This was found out rather during building permit application review. So the applicants made their building permit application, and during our zoning review, we noted that this front yard setback would be deficient. So hence the minor variance application before the committee this evening. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. We did circulate to all the neighbors, and we had one comment, and the only comment was that the individual did not have a concern with the proposal. So no objections or concerns were voiced from neighbors.
Thanks, Michael. Is there any questions or comments for Michael? Go ahead, Councillor Martin.
Not really a big concern, but they already have a garage.
That's correct. I don't know. I would sense that down the road, they may look to convert the garage to living space, would be my best guess. Yeah.
Thanks, Councillor Martin. Go ahead, Councillor Nori. Oh, sorry, Bob.
Sorry. I move staff recommendation.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Nori. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Hicks. Is there any further comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? Opposed, motion's carried. And we'll look for a motion for adjournment of the Committee of Adjustment. Moved by Councillor Shank, seconded by Councillor Martin. If there's no further comments or questions or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed, motion carried. Thanks, folks, and we'll see you back at 7 o'clock for a regular session of council.